Well, you have to do the obligatory unboxing, and I'm kind of in competition with the tannoy system at the moment here. We have 22 loudspeakers around the place doing background music and hourly news checks, plus the doorbell, plus the radio communication system here. And although I've got the speaker down to absolute minimum, it's just popped up with the radio news, so it's typical. So here we are, beginning of February, the day after Brexit, and here in the UK. And many years ago, when CB first came out, and everybody wanted to use, this is in UK, it was 1981, and everybody wanted to use those American slang things. This would be a blessed event being when you got a new CB radio. So here's one we're going to be looking at. When we review these, I buy these with my own money, and the people don't know that they're going to be reviewed, so they're not fiddled with. So this should be a Thunderpole 3000, and it's supposed to be quite a slim in length. This is where we cut through the box. I'm at Mr Chippie's bench. Mr Chippie isn't here this weekend, and so whilst he's away, the mice do play, and you've got to unbox these things, haven't you? Where's the litter bin gone? Looks like it's the floor then. Eventually this radio will cut back out when it's done the news. There are 3 radio tuners on our background music system. One's on Radio 4, the other is BBC, the next one is on BBC World Service, and the third one is on BBC Radio Lincolnshire, which is our local radio station. Therefore, all being BBC ones, we don't have any adverts to put up with. So there's the pips for the news. Oh, it's gone back to background music only. So, it's a CE multi radio. So that means in this country, it therefore means we'll be on 40 UK and 40 CEPT channels if we wanted to use those, which we don't. Now this is the thing about these radios. That's the thickness. So it's like having one of those detachable head remote sets, but that's the whole thing. There we go. Oh, made in China, what a surprise. So also in the box, a mic. Oh, that looks like a DIN bracket to go in where you have a entertainment type radio in a car. Then it has the U bracket for more normal type of mounting in a car. And there's a mic clip in there, and the side thumb screws. Sounds like a medieval torture device, huh? Just an up, down and auto squelch switch on the mic. And we'll need the power lead out of here. It's frustrating when they come with a cigarette lighter because, you know, our benches aren't really set up for that. And then you've got 2 extraction keys. Well, so what we're going to do in this video is I thought we'd do the unboxing ceremony, and then we'll go in the other workshop and we will see what's inside it and if anything, is adjustable. On the back we've got an extension speaker socket that says mic, and it's got a blanking plug-in. So that's interesting because it's absolutely nothing inside there. So I'll put the blanking grommet back in the hole. Perhaps there's something about that in the instruction book. It's a 6-pin mic socket, and from the front we can see it's got a Kenwood type of speaker mic socket. Squelch and auto squelch, that's probably preset squelch. Channel up and down. Vox or lock, so that's voice operation for those of you who don't know. Colour, that'll be colour of the display, and dimmer. Channel 9, channel 19, and scan, and then which band you're in, which will either hopefully be UK or CEPT when we set it up. And look, we've got a Thunderpole leaflet. Wow. Right, we'll go over to the workshop and we'll use the usual overhead camera there. Now in the main workshop, and what's the background music system playing in here? The same as the other one. Right, so if we compare a floppy disk, hey, do all of you remember floppy disks? So we'll switch it on. And it's come on as UK. Well, that's ideal, isn't it? That's what we want. But just for the record, we need to say how this is done. Frequency band selection. To program a different band, turn it on. Hold down the mode button for 3 seconds to enter the band selection mode. So hold it down for 3 seconds. Yeah, it says UK. And then using the up and down button, we can select between the different countries. So we select, we're back in UK, hold the mode button down for 3 seconds to choose that band. There we go. So now I'm going to switch it off, switch it back on again. Yeah, UK. Oh, well, that was easy, wasn't it? Not a combination of 3 buttons like you sometimes get. I'll just turn the squelch down. Yep. Good. So hopefully if I press the band button, it'll select the EU band. And it now says EU in the small part of the screen there. And when I go to the band again, hopefully, oh, it does EU AM, which of course we are permitted to do these days on a CEPT set like this. Well, I've never had a set, that's the first one which has done that, and then back to UK. So we'll go through that again. So we're on UK, which is FM only. EU starts off in the FM mode. Next press it takes us to the AM mode. And then back to UK, which is always FM. That's fantastic. That's a plus point for Thunderpole. Right, well, let's have a look at some of these other things. So short press of the colour button will change the colour of the LCD backlight. Green, purpley, bluey, green, whitish. Oh, that's alright. So presumably when we press it and hold it, does it dim? just see. We'll just, yes, I think that's dimmer, isn't it? Yeah, that's what happens there. So then, of course, we know about scan. Vox. Short press of the button enters Vox mode. The radio will transmit as soon as your voice is heard on any accessory plugged into the accessory socket. So that will mean not with that mic. I will just prove it. Wallow testing 1 2. No, it needs to be plugged into the accessory socket, which is there. So we'll go out of that. It says with the ASQ, when this control is turned anti-clockwise, it enters auto squelch mode. Now I don't know whether that is automatic or whether it's preset, because most of these it's actually preset. We can see all the fluorescent lights on the display if we do that. Okay, well the next thing, we'll open it up and see what makes it tick. So having taken the 4 screws out of the back, we're left with a very vulnerable display. So you can see we've got the speaker there, and these are on connectors. So we can see we've got some micro miniature presets. There's 3 there. You can see 3 legs of a conventional component. There's probably the output transistor. So I'm going to take this next board off and see if there's anything behind there. Okay, so the back of the display board, we've got a complex chip there, which will be processor, it might be the synthesizer as well. And we also failed to mention that you've got 2 presets there on that board. So put that board to one side. What have we got here? We've got a reference crystal, and we've got a trimmer just down there. So the chances are that the trimmer there is going to be the frequency. So certainly no coils you're going to be able to get to. It's all going to be preset stuff, which is the way a lot of sets have gone today. So we've got a leaded component there, we've got a leaded component there, and that one I've already mentioned. So that's most likely going to be the audio IC, probably a voltage regulator, could well be a driver, could be the output. Obviously there's no service manual, so it's a lot of this is guesswork. So we do need to know what these adjustments are, so we're going to find out. We're going to find out pretty soon. So I just wanted to check there was nothing under that display board, because I've spent years in business two-way radio, and sometimes you'd have business radios where you've got to have extender cards because there's adjustments on the other side of boards, but on this radio that isn't the case. There's no adjustments on there and there's no adjustments on there, so it's all adjusted with it in one piece. There's no coils to adjust, it's just the preset potentiometers, the 5 of them. So we'll see what they are. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, obviously it's a new setting, it is on frequency, it's slightly high, which is fine, but the trimmer is just to the, we've got it this way on, so I've got the front panel upwards, and I've taken these away from the front panel, otherwise we're going to end up with a very bright light poking at the in fact, I could press the dimmer button, couldn't I? That would help. That'd help a bit. Perhaps a different colour. It doesn't dim these though. Right, so what I'm going to do, we'll set it into transmit whilst just popping the frequency down a fraction. So what have we got? So I turned it anti-clockwise, and that's moving the frequency higher. I actually want it lower. Could do with 3 hands. There we go, that's a bit nearer. So we should be on 27,79125. So as presented, it's 27,79135. They're always a bit higher because crystals drop with age with frequency, so it's sensible. Drop frequency with age, I get that the right way round. So I've just set that to 131, just that little bit lower. So that's fine. So what's the power it's doing? The power it's doing is spot on 3 watts. Yeah, right. Now it's possible that one of these presets is going to be a power control. So we've got a bar graph meter. Whether or not that's a real one or not, we're going to find out. The other one, of course, will be deviation. So we'll just see where our deviation is. I'll get the little oscillator out. We'll see what it says. Might help if the oscilloscope is switched on. 1.5. Speech 1.8. So that needs to come up a bit. So let's see if we can find that. Yes, the first one I've gone for is the top one, and that is deviation. I'm now over the top, so I'll just drop that back a fraction. That's interesting because it read right with the other one. I can't whistle this evening. There we go. So that's now maximum of 2.5. Otherwise that would have been a bit quiet. So with it this way on, it was the top of the bank of 3 presets. So I'll make a note on my clipboard that that one is deviation. Well, that's one I've got right. I'm tempted to think that the 2 on the display board could well be the meter. This video, normally we do these in parts with transmit and receive separately, because there's such few adjustments with this being the way it is in surface mount and all that. We're just doing this all in one. So we know it's receiving, and at the moment it's giving me, well, I'll tell you what, we'll set that for the test set's now at 100 microvolts, which should be S9. Well, it's not showing me S9, so I'd like it to come up a bit. So I'm hoping that one of those adjustments will be the RF meter, and the other one I'm hoping will be the S meter. I could be wrong. So I'll just touch that one, see what happens. Well, isn't that one? I'm just going to press transmit. Doesn't appear to be that one either. Just press transmit. No, I'm wrong there. So we'll see what that's upset in a minute. So we'll go to the middle one. No. And the bottom one. Okay, well, doesn't affect any of them. Right. So we're going back into transmit, and we'll see if one of these is transmit power, because it's clearly got a voltage regulator in the transmitter. So let's go into transmit. Yes, the bottom one, and it does do 4 watts. Just do about 4.1. So we now, I'll get the clipboard back. So we know the bottom one is TX power. So that's brought it up from 3 watts to 4 watts. So we've done deviation, we've done TX power. One of these will be auto squelch and one will be normal squelch. I wonder if they're the ones on the front. So chances are that that middle one, if the top one was deviation, I bet the next one down is AM modulation. So let's see. So I've now switched the meter to AM modulation. This is going to be fun because I'm now going to have to change frequency. So we need to be in EU, AM, and it's a slightly different frequency, isn't it? It's 27205 or something like that. So we've got to just retune the model meter. There we go. Switch that to AM. Wallow. Yeah, right. So we've now got AM mod showing on the meter. So we'll just see whether that is in fact what we think. I'll use the instead of whistling and running out of whistle, we'll use the meter. No, it's not that. Well, I can't think it's going to be. I can't think it's going to be those other two. Do you know what? It is. Right, so I've set that for 75% mod. So the top one, I'll just turn the oscillator off. Just check it with a whistle. I can whistle that at 90%. If I can switch the oscillator off. That's made the things fall off. So at least this, although this is trial and error, at least I'm doing it and you're not messing up your own radio, and I'm not messing up this either because I can get it right. So that's AM mod. So I'm now beginning to wonder if that is the mic gain for the accessory microphone. So that's not something we can prove. So that leaves us with Squelch really. So the meter, there is no preset for the meter either on transmit or receive. So you get what you're given by the looks of that. But of course, the only two adjustments we had left, and I'll just go back into FM. There we go, UK. So we've got a low signal on that. So what's that? S6-ish. So if I adjust the centre one, which is the one we haven't found anything for, see, it's not going to do anything there. I'm going to be very careful with this because I think it's going to affect the accessory. So that is clearly preset, so it must be Squelch. So in that case, we're going to manual Squelch. There we are. fact, I'll set that better. So set to threshold, signal generator back on, straight in, squelch to full, see where it comes in. Well, it comes in about plus 30, which is actually ideal. So again, we'll see whether this affects it. The answer is no, it doesn't. So we'll see whether it affects auto squelch. And the answer is no, it doesn't. So there we are. So I've only been able to tell you what three of the 5 controls do. So I think that's the accessory. When you put a mic input into there, I think that's to do with the Vox level. So I've been very careful when adjusting it to always make sure that I'm putting it back to more or less the same place. So no, it's a mystery. So any of you who know better than I do, have got access to service information, you can always leave a little message. But the whole point was, we've got 4 watts instead of 3. We've got 2.2 to 2.5 deviation instead of 1.4 to 1.7. So it's now transmitting as it should. The receiver is very good, and if I just turn that squelch back down, we're listening to 0.3 of a microvolt, 0.2 of a microvolt, 0.15 of a microvolt, 0.1 of a microvolt. That's the signal generator off, and it's still receiving something at 0.06 of a microvolt. So that's, really very good. Perhaps if we had the cyanide meter switched on, see if I can do that without hooking up lots of probes. No, I can't. But we might be able to just pop another crocodile clip. Let's have a look. Right, so for 12 decibel cyanide, that is 0.25 of a microvolt, which is fantastic. So for 10 decibel cyanide, which is the other one they sometimes quote, 0.21 of a microvolt. Yes, phenomenal receive. Right, we'll put it back together. So to conclude, I think we'll just pop it onto the aerial and see whether we can hear anything. Bearing in mind we're in the middle of nowhere here, but there's sometimes people being naughty in towns 35 miles away, and we can sometimes hear them. So we'll see. Right, so I've set the squelch manually, and we'll just pop the zoom out a bit so we can see its face. And we'll take that dimmer off. Don't know which colour I like the best, probably that one. And we'll press scan. We'll press scan. You press and hold, do you? Yeah. Don't know what that is. Trouble is, we've got Cranwell 4 miles away, the RAF base, and you've got radar. So this is one of the problems when you've got scan. I'll pop the squelch up a bit more. So when it locks on something, it holds for about 3 seconds, Okay, we'll see what's on, if there's anything on EU, which is highly unlikely. Oh, well, there's your usual swearing on 90. I expect that's 35 miles away at Nottingham. Take it out of scan. Change it to EU. Oops. Get it right. Never hear anything on here. We get very poor range because there's usually a lot of residual background noise. There's no point doing that on AM, but just for the record I will. Well, of course that's just interference it's picked up. Yeah. That's the problem with CEPT here. Let's go out of there into UK. '19, Roger. Okay, we'll leave it out, but we will do an on-the-air test when Mr Chippie comes subsequently. So there you are. It's a nice radio, that, and it hasn't got too many software features. You know, some radios you've got to go into menus to do the squelch, and at least you can, if it's annoying you in manual squelch, you can pop it onto auto squelch from the microphone, which is quite handy. And although I'm not a lover of up-down controls, you've got it repeated on the mic, and it's quite a nice mic, that. So there you go. So that is the Thunderpole T3000, and what adjustments we can make out. Which, to recap, it was the top one was deviation, the bottom one was transmit power, and the one on the display board was AM mod, and of course the frequency one there. But as for that one and the one in the middle, I have no idea, but I think they'll be affecting Vox or the accessory microphone jack here. So thank you for watching. That's the Thunderpole T3000.